Hi, this is Troxel. In this tutorial, we're actually going to go back and look at something that we worked on over 2 years ago. This tutorial was put out in February of 2021. You might want to go back and look at it. It's the tutorial where we learned how to create a script with a form. In that particular tutorial, we needed to do something on the form, so we just had a number box on there, and whichever number we selected, it would select that region on the timeline. Well, now we've had a request that it be possible to find a region using the region name or the label. And so we want to modify that old script from 2 years ago so that we can instead show a drop-down box with all of the label names in it, and then we can select the region from that drop-down box. So the first thing we did was go back and find that old script, loaded it up, took the number box off of it, and then we needed to add the combo box so that we could have the drop-down list, and then modify the code to now not reference the number box but reference that new combo box. So here's the new script, and we'll see the changes that we made, and we'll see this changes to the screen as well. So let's take a look at that. So here's the new screen. We used to have a number box here, and we were looking for region by number, and we had a number box listed where this combo box is. Now we've added a combo box, which is right here, and dragged it over to the screen. So we have a combo box now, and we renamed this combo box as CMB markers. Technically it should be CMB regions. Another thing we did here is change the font size so that it was a larger font, because it was requested that the font was too small to see easily, so we just picked a larger font size. Then I've also added a checkbox here, which gives us the option to zoom to the selection area on the timeline, and we'll see what the difference is between with that zoomed and with that not zoomed. And then, of course, we still have the Find Region button, and we went ahead and changed the name up here to be, instead of Form 1, it now says Select Region by Name. Here's the code, and down to here, everything is the same. So all of this is the same as it was in the previous tutorial. Then we get our number of regions, and in this main routine here, we are looking to see if we have any regions. So if the number of regions is 0, then we're going to put a message box on the screen that says you didn't have any regions anyway, so there's nothing for me to show in the combo box. Otherwise, we're going to go through our list of regions, and for each region in our combo box, we are going to do a .items, .add, and we're going to add the myregion.label into that combo box. So we've modified our entry routine so that now it just fills up the combo box. So after they have selected their entry from the drop-down box, and they have selected whether or not they want to zoom to that area, they would click the Find Region button. So now let's look and see what the Find Region button does. Here is the Find Region button. The first thing we're going to do is find the region that we're looking at, and that region is very easy to find because it is going to be the same number as it is in this drop-down list. So all we have to do is find the myvegas.project.regions, and the one we're going to look at is the combobox.selectedIndex. All the entries here in the combo box are 0 based, and all the entries in the regions are 0 based, so they're going to match every time. Then I want to move my cursor to be the position of that region. So that will move our cursor to the beginning of that region. Then I want to select that region. So we're going to set the selection start equal to the beginning of the region. And then we're going to set our selection length to the length of that region. Finally, if that checkbox on the screen was checked, I want to do a zoom selection on that region so that it will fill the timeline area with just that one region. And then after it has selected that region, we're going to do a this dot close. What that is going to do is it's actually going to close the form off the screen. Otherwise, you would have to manually close the form off. Once all that is done, then we will do a build solution, and this will give us our new DLL file with this new script in it. Then all we have to do is go in our test script with form, to the bin, to the release, and we will find our script right here, and it will have a DLL extension. What I ended up doing was renaming this to be more in common with what this script is doing. And so instead of seeing test script with form, we'll see a different name, but you would take this and copy it into the My Documents / Vegas script menu, and then it would show up in Vegas under the menu list. In our case, here's our class 1.cs we've been using, and here is my renamed version, Find Regions by Name. And so I'm just going to call it the same way I've been calling the class 1.cs by using the Find Regions by Name. So here is a sample project we have with 4 regions on it. And if we run this script and go Tools, Scripting, Run Script, Find Regions by Name, you will see now that we have all of the region names in this list. So if I wanted to select region 2, but I did not want it to zoom into it, I could uncheck that, and when I click on Find Region, now region 2 is selected and the cursor is at the beginning of region 2. If I run it again, let's leave the zoom checked this time, and say I choose my 3rd region, and I click on Find Region. Now the cursor is at the beginning of my 3rd region, and my 3rd region fills up the entire screen on the timeline. So even though the base script was over 2 years old, it still was very useful as a base to get this new modification version. Most of the code was already there because we were already finding a region on the timeline. It was just highlighting it before, where now we're actually going to it and we have an option to zoom into it. And so we've added some new functionality and just found a different way to select the region. But this was an interesting task in going in and modifying old code to do a new task. So if you have some old scripts out there that need to do something just slightly different than what they used to, that's a good starting point for you so that you don't have to start everything from scratch. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and we'll see you again next week. Please sign up at www.JETDV.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.